Here we go. We started recording. This is for you, Rose, and it's just for you. I'm not going to be giving this to anybody else. Okay. So what I want for your knowledge and for you to come back to this recording whenever you want is for you to tell me and for you to consider how you would use a retreat. In what respect have you made any considerations as to what you can give the world in any retreats
You
that
know,
you
no,
can do?
I've been kind of thinking about that. Nothing that I particularly, you know, uh, have thought about. I know there was a vision workshops, and I did I think a whole plan for that, and I didn't actually do the plan yet. Um, I guess there would be a lot of things, that I could use this for. I don't have anything, specific in mind yet. It's pretty broad.
So I want you to, while we're doing this retreat workshop, I want you to consider what is it that you are skillful at and that people in the world will claim it as something they need.
Yeah.
Remember that it's not just your knowledge and skills and your abilities, but what touches people emotionally. In other words, something that is going on in their lives that they need support in, something that will benefit them.
Yes.
So the benefits and the emotional touching to that participant is what is going to bring them in. It's going to reel them into your retreat. It's
Yes.
not just your lectures and how knowledgeable you are or what people you bring to talk in that retreat. It's not just the skills and abilities, but what benefit? What will the participant benefit from? And think of it as adjectives. Think of it as, will they gain courage? Will they gain health? Will they gain wellness? Will they gain uh, confidence? So what will they take from it? And that's what you want to sell.
Okay.
It's not the hours they're going to spend with a professional and the learning education they will receive, but what they will take from it. That's the key to selling it. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. And that would be this one. Yep. Okay. So the first thing I always give when I'm in a retreat or a workshop is, you know who I am, but when I give a retreat or a workshop or anything like that, I talk about who I am, where I come from, what my experience is, what are my certifications, my education, all of that. Now, you know me, and I don't have to go through the whole thing, but pretty much, anything that you don't know, there might be something here that you don't know about me, that I was an optician for 26 years in the state of Florida. A lot of people don't know that because
Yeah.
it's outside of the spiritual realm, right? So they don't know that I did work as an optician for many
Yes.
years.
In
And
your other life.
huh?
In your other life.
Yeah, and before I started all the spiritual stuff. And I was a children's coach before coaching was even a word here in the States. I taught a curriculum that I created, and I got the information or the motivation from a speaker I went to see. Her name is Lisa Jane McInnes, and she is an Australian children's book author. And she wrote, I'm a walking, talking miracle. And it was on the cereal of the Aussies in Australia, they would eat the cereal and they would say in the back, I'm a walking, talking miracle. And she made a goal setting and self-esteem um, workbook for children with illustrations and coloring and all that. And I got it from that, and I created a curriculum locally for children where they learned about their name, what their name means. They learned about their life. They learned about their parents. They became more centered into who they are and their roots. And then we launched into what is a goal, how come we need to write it, what is a short-term goal, what's a long-term goal, let's create a goal. These are the steps, and you need to date it, and you need to sign it, and this is what goes with it, and that and you need to know what your um, obstacles can be, and be prepared for them, and know what to do if they come, and what are you willing to give up. What is it that you're willing to give up? Are you willing to give up some TV time, some play time, in order to be able to make this goal happen for you? So all that stuff goes into that curriculum, and it's called All I Can Be, and it became successful locally in the 90s, and I was the writer and instructor for that course. And so before coaching was even a thing, I was a children's coach. And then
Right.
I opened a business with Jaslyn once we became certified coaches in 2016, and we were coaches, we're certified coaches. And then I decided I didn't want to be a life coach. I wanted to try out health. And I went in for it. AFPA had an offer, and I became a holistic nutritionist online. It was a 6-month course. Hold on a second. Let me just let Lisette know that I'll call her back later. That was Lisette. And then I became a Zumba instructor because I wanted to, because I was 51 years old and my husband thought that I couldn't do it. And I said, I'm going to do it. And I did it. And I rubbed it in his face. So that's pretty much what I did, why I did it. And also because I knew that if I wasn't the instructor, I wasn't going to be doing the class. Because if I was going to be just a student, I was going to be half-ass. But as an instructor, I was going to put my effort. So that's why I did that. And then I went into FIU, Florida International University, to study elementary education. I have not finished a bachelor's degree. There are 6 classes left, and I'm at a standstill. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be an elementary school teacher anymore. And everybody tells me, do it, because that way you got your bachelor's degree. But Rose, I don't want it. I don't want it. It doesn't feel like it's what I want to do. So that's where I'm at. In 2019, I opened a self-love club. I became the admin of it in Facebook. I have over 1,100 people in that club, and I reach out to them personally. I do affirmations every day there for people, and I do what I can to support them. I opened Life Soul Coaching Schools that same year, and I got a certification to be a coach for children from Stanford University. Uh, and then this year I started the Enchantress program. So that's pretty much who I am today. So why,
By the
what
way,
is,
great picture of you, by the way.
you like it?
Yes.
I'm just thinking there. But thank you.
It's a great picture.
I love it. Thank you. So this is the outline of today's class. It's why we're going to do a virtual retreat, and we're going to do a checklist of before, during, and after the retreat. So you're going to have a bullet where you can check mark, okay, this is what I got to do before, this is what I got to do during, and this is what I got to do after. Make sure that everything is planned out correctly so that it can be a successful thing. So what is it? What's a virtual retreat? It's just like a course, but the difference is, instead of just you talking or having someone give a lecture, it's more collaborative. There's much sharing involved. You do a lecture, then you have them do some kind of activity, and then they share with each other. And because of that, people get connections with each other. And that's why retreats are so popular as compared to a workshop. In a workshop, you learn, you do one activity perhaps, maybe there's a sharing, maybe not, maybe there's a meditation, maybe not. You write out activities and you learn. It's just like a classroom. But with a retreat, there is movement, there is interaction, and that's why people like it. Okay.
Sounds good. Yes.
So a virtual retreat, meaning that it's online, what you first want to do is put it on the calendar. Because once it's in the calendar, it becomes real. This is what I'm doing. I'm doing this goal. And then you think about the intention you want behind it. What is the goal that you want to build around? So is it wellness? Is it to teach people how to eat better? Is it to give people healing? What is the intention behind it? And then you're going to create an agenda, an outline. Okay, if it's going to be about healing, I'm going to include this, this, and this. And you know what? Maybe to make it even better, I could include this other thing that I might not be good at, but so-and-so is. And if they include this, let's say Reiki, energy healing, maybe I don't have that in my own understanding, but I can bring someone in and bring this, and it'll make it a big, good mix of fun for them because it's not just medicine and it's not just lectures. Now they get to understand energy, and I could bring this person in, and you start creating ideas with the intention that you have and who can collaborate with you and make it even funner. So why? It's because number one, you're going to make more money. Number two, you're going to impact people's lives. Number three, wow, how it feels when you transform someone's life. Wow. And then you get their testimonials, and you can put them in your website, you can put them in social media, and you connect to those people who trust you and who are following you and who say, wow, I really like the way Rose lives. I like her ways. I like what she's doing. I'm going to follow her, and I'm going to tell my friends about her, and they're going to follow her. So you start to connect with your followers. So
Snowball effect.
yeah, yeah. So how to do this is by using this checklist as a bullet point so that you can go one by one and making sure that you've got all your points crossed. Okay. So before planning a virtual retreat, you want to do these three things. So you would check mark. That's what this box is for. So you could check mark it. So you want to establish your business foundations, have a clear understanding who you're going to give the message to and what message you're going to give. So is it divorced women? Is it moms with little children? Is it couples? Is it people who are sick? Is it people who are in a transformational phase in their life? Like really realize who you're going to be targeting and what kind of message you're going to give to them. Once that is done, then you're going to work on building an email list for the people that you're marketing to. So let's say that you have an email list of 100 people. And if those 100 people, maybe the people that you need to market to, maybe there's 10 that you could market. Well, if you're able to think of at least 5 people who would come to the retreat right now, that you know that if you call them, you say to them, listen, in 6 weeks, I'm having a retreat and it's going to be a whole Saturday and we're going to be talking about this. And they're going to say, yes, I'm in. You've got 5 people, then you're ready. You're ready to create a retreat.
Yes.
So the big vision is super important. This is part of the beginning, part of before you start your retreat. These 5 bullet points are super important. You need to know your why, right? Your vision is clarified, which is here on the first point here. This would be your big why, okay? But once you've got that, you can check mark. Now have a mission statement and outline what values, meaning what's important that you need to have in your retreat. What cannot be left out? So a mission statement would be something like the participant will understand and learn how to use X, Y, and Z for this particular purpose with the assistance of medicine or herbal or whatever it is, and you define really well what you're trying to achieve and what the person will get from that. And you have the values, what's important outlined on that mission statement. So what is important? Let's say that person that you're doing health. You want to make sure that people become healthy, and you're going to do so because of herbs. What's important for you to teach them is that herbs can be the one and only way for them to become healthier without the need of allopathic medicine, unless they need surgery or their situation is, very, it's grown to a place where they need allopathic help, right? And you're trying to tell them always that allopathic medicine doesn't mean that it's bad for them. It just means that you're going to try to live as natural as possible. So if all those are, if those things are your important things that you want to come across, and those are things that you want them to get from the retreat, that goes in your mission statement in a way that they understand what they're going to be getting. The benefits are going to be there. So that said, now you need to know who it is that you're targeting. Who's your ideal participant? Is it somebody that has a little bit of a health issue, or somebody that has a lot of a health issue? Which kind of health issues? What are we talking about here? Are we talking about headaches, or are we talking about cancer? So you want to define really well, is it somebody that's starting to go from a higher weight to a lower weight? Like, really define who it is that you want to bring this to. And number 4 is you have a clear outline of how you're going to transform these people. What is the outcome you want to see these people have? That they come from out of the retreat believing in medical, in the herbs, the medical um, ingredients in the herbs, and then they start to believe that they can use these herbs for their transformation and for the transformation of their family. So if that's what you want to achieve, that has to be clear for you, and it's got to be on the outline. And then if there's any possible partner that you can bring to lecture, you want to contact them and find out if they're in your big vision. It's important that they're in your big vision, and not that they start to change your vision into what they consider that they want to create. You create your vision, you bring them in to support you in this big vision that you have. And then they can speak, or they can teach, or they can be helpful technologically, like we all need one person at least to be in the background, so that when you're speaking, that person can tell you, Rose, such and such person has a question on the chat, so that you can answer their questions, because you're not looking at the chat when you're speaking. So that person can tell you, oh, in the chat, such and such person said this. Can you answer that? Because you'll lose out if you don't have that second person helping you. Plus, that person can be there for you. You need a person, a second person, Rose, because there's going to be things that are going to come up during the retreat, and you may need to handle somebody's nervous states, or their anxiety, or their emotional breakdown, and have them go into a room with the person that is helping you and say, listen, she's going to help you. You're going to be on your own for the next 5 or 10 minutes. When you're ready, come back to our activities, but you need some assistance right now. Lisette is here. She's going to take you to another room. And that way you can put that person aside so you can continue helping the rest. Okay.
Yes, makes sense.
And then you want to decide how long the retreat will be, if it's going to be a half a day, a full day, if it's going to be 2 days, if it's going to be the whole weekend, including Friday. How long will it be? What will it take for you to be able to have everything that you want to teach with all the activities, and bring some fun into it, and have the sharing, and maybe the meditation, or whatever else that you want to bring into them? And then what are the approximate retreat dates that are good for you? how many people you want to have come to that. Maybe you don't want a big size. Maybe you just want to have, 7 or 8 people, 5 people in it. So it's up to you how big you want it and how long you want it to be, but you create that. Once you've got these bullet points, then you're pretty much planned out with what you want to achieve. But now you have to plan out the itinerary, the outline of how you're going to do things, right? So first, what style or what theme do you want to bring in? What's really popular now is to have a theme that everybody ends up for a specific time, maybe for an hour, maybe for 2. Everybody wears something. Like, for example, you might say from this time to this time, we're going to make believe we're in the Caribbean islands or in Hawaii. Everybody's going to wear a Hawaiian shirt, and you've brought something fun into the retreat. Topics, themes, and activities, roughly what things can I do? I can't just lecture for 2 hours. I'm going to lecture for an hour, give them a break, then maybe lecture for another 10 or 15 minutes and give them an activity that will bring that information into writing and that they can, with their own hands, create something. So that it's not all talk, because not everybody learns by listening or by watching. People need to do things too with their hands. It's a kinesthetic learning that is necessary. We need to have all kinds of learning there so that everybody can understand. So you've got to have that, right? And then number 3, you've created your schedule. You've included the workshop time, the free time for them, because they have to have some free time too, right? The meals have to be included in the day. And if you want to have one-on-one time, maybe some people like to have that. I don't usually do it during the retreat. I do it after the retreat where I schedule with them, but that's up to you. You need to create that time for them as well. And a lot of people like to give gifts before or after. Usually what I do is if I'm going to include something that they need to have colors or a canvas or some kind of craft, I include whatever my material cost is in the price and I have it shipped to them so they don't have to look for it themselves. Okay, so if that's one thing you can do, or you can not have any of that. Just tell them they need a paper and pen and a notebook and pen. But then after the retreat, you send them a little gift. Now that can look like an email that says 20% off my next retreat, or it can be a real gift. Like everybody loves t-shirts, everybody loves mugs. Some people like baseball caps, so a pen, with your logo and your name on it or something like whatever the name of the retreat was, something like that. So you can mail it to them to their physical address. And that's like a little gift that you can build into your budget, which is they already paid it. And you're just sending it to them now. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay.
Pretty good. Great info.
Thanks.
Sure.
So now we're going to talk about budget. So you want to see how much profit you want to make. If it's 10 people and you want to have let's not talk about how many people first. Let's talk about how much profit you want to make. Let's say you need to make an extra $2,000 next month. And or not next month, let's say in September, you're going to need to make $2,000 more. Those $2,000, you're going to do it with this retreat. That's completely doable. What you do is you figure out a base price per person. If for 2,000 people, $100, 20 people, right? Am I right? $100, 20 people, because 100, yeah, $100, 20 people, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So $100, 20 people. Now you decide that the price of the retreat is not going to be 100, but it's going to be maybe 150. because maybe, think about this, you might have an early bird price that's $75. And those people that will give you the $75 right before, but then the next people with the general audience, the general participants will pay 150. So now you've got 10 people coming, 5 paid 75, 5 paid 150. It's the same as 10 paying you 100.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's how you look at it. And then you're going to decide how much their deposit is, because that deposit is what's going to help you in the month of August. And the rest is going to help you in September. Okay. So then you want to add to the contract that they're going to sign that says, my name is Rose Colon. I am a coach of such and such a thing. My company's name is this. This is a, you want to include in the contract any limitations. You want to include in the contract, this is not on the slides, but you may want to write it or listen to this again. You want to write anything that has to do with limitations, requirements that they need to have, and what do you call this? Liability. That you're not liable for any emotional, I don't have this in a slide, so I do want to mention this. You're not liable. It's a disclosure, Rose. You're not liable for any emotional upset. Not you, not your company, not your staff, not the people present.
Yes.
And they sign that contract and they send it to you. And in that contract, it's the amount of the deposit and how much they're going to pay before the retreat. Let's say they paid, let's say it was the $75 for early bird. It's $75 for early bird, but for the general public, it might be $75 deposit and another $75 the day of the retreat or the day before the retreat, that you need to have it in your side before we begin the retreat. You see, and some people even do a payment plan even after the retreat. If I know them, I would do that. But if I don't know them, I'm not going to do that, because they might just never, I gave them the information, now they learned it, and they'll never pay me again, unless there's a certification involved, Rose. If there's a certification involved, I will not give them their certificate until their payment is finished.
Yes.
Okay. Then I have them, because they can't put that certificate up, and they can't say anywhere that they have a certification for it unless they've paid me. So that is an extra there. So you're going to decide the deposit, you're going to decide on cancellation and refund policy. So what does that look like? The refund is full if you cancel before the retreat begins, 48 hours before the retreat, and you send me a written letter stating why. Medical reasons, you can't, whatever, you get, whatever it is that you want to do, but you add that to the contract. When they sign it, they know what they're going to be missing out on. Like, let's say that you might decide to, if they want a refund, that you'll keep 20% for the work that you've done, and they get the rest, but they're not going to get a full refund. So it's up to you how you want to word it. Depends on how much you have to spend on each one prior to the retreat. And I usually don't spend anything because it's all online. But when it's in person, I do keep money. I do, because I have to put money first for the event, right? Because I've got to pay a place.
Yeah.
But this is a lot easier when it's virtual. And then you want to have like a pre-sale email that you will be mailing out and sending out to the people that you know. The pre-sale email is like, I'm planning on doing a retreat on September 15th, and it's going to be on whatever that is. What you're going to get from it is A, B, and C, what their benefits are. And I would like for you to share it with other people that are interested in health. They're having health issues and they're interested in dealing with these health issues in a natural way where they can feel well, they can feel energetic, they can feel strong, they can feel young again, all that,
Yes.
so you give them the benefits. And then now you're preparing to launch. You've decided a launch date. You've scheduled it in your calendar. You have an early bird date decided and scheduled in your calendar. You have a registration close date decided upon. So you close registration by the Monday before, for example, so that you have those 5 days to get everything written down and everything ready. And you schedule that in your calendar so that you know that's the last day that you're going to accept anybody.
Yep.
Anybody else that wants after that, next time that you do it, not this time. You have a sales page that you design, that you write it, and that you're ready, that it's ready on your website, because people are going to go to that sales page, and in that sales page, they're going to have the contract, they're going to have the registration, they're going to have all the information. The retreat contract and the video photography waiver has to be also on that sales page, and it's got to be ready for them to just sign it and send it to you. And it's embedded. The application is ready embedded. And the retreat package is there something you want to send them prior to the retreat? They've paid you a deposit. Do you have PDF slides? Do you have a questionnaire? Do you have any quizzes? What is it that you have that you can send them? That's their retreat package. Friday night, I'm going to learn about this. So I need to do this. This is an assignment Friday night. The assignment is going to be, told to me on Friday, but I got to remember I have an assignment Friday night and it's going to be asked of me on Saturday. So they already have that information. Graphics and copy created and scheduled in social media means you create a post on Canva or Adobe Player or anything like that. And in that posting, you're telling the world that Rose Colon is creating a retreat on September 15th on X, Y, and Z. And this is what their benefits are. And this is where they need to go to register. And you send it to all their social media people. Everybody gets to have it. You send it on groups, you send it on Instagram, you send it on wherever, anywhere you have, LinkedIn, everywhere. And then if you're going to have any payment plan options, you're going to outline it and you're going to let people know about it. It could be on PayPal or on Stripe. Tip. The benefits, I cannot stress that more. Benefits are super important. How does your retreat differ from others? What are the benefits you're going to be giving your participants? Why would I go to Rose Colon's retreat on X, Y, and Z when these other people that I've heard of so many times give me the same information? How do I know Rose Colon knows anything about it as opposed to this other people? What makes her more important? Why would I go there? What makes me interested in finding out more on what Rose Colon's got for me? And it's not about what you're giving them, it's about what they're going to be receiving. So their benefits of it is what's more important. So if you are giving them the same benefits as the other people, they're going to say, well, she's saying that she can give me this, but so are they. So where do I go? So you got to find a benefit that really explodes their mind. I just like, wow, okay, I need to find out more. Because their emotion, when you connect to their emotion, that's what sells. That's what sells. Like, for example, a video clip of a person who goes to the doctor, he's giving a diagnosis, and he goes home and is brooding, but his wife brings him His wife brings him a tea, and every day she brings him a tea, and every day she brings him a tea, and he starts to look better and better and better. And now with that, you have shown people that a tea can change a person's outlook in life, in health, and that they can feel better from that tea. So that's the kind of emotion that you want to bring out. Like, wow, I can be that person. I can get healed, and a tea can do that for me, or some kind of herb can do that for me. I just need to find out which herb is going to help me. Maybe I need to go to Rose's thing to find out, so that I can be a healthier person naturally. So on the next slide, there are some reasons why people decide to book a virtual retreat. And you want to maybe select from this slide some of the reasons why that would work for you in your retreat, and then include those reasons in your marketing. These are some of the benefits that work out pretty well. People want to go to a retreat because they are surrounded by people that have the same mind. They're thinking about the same thing. They might have access to professional guidance at a much lower rate than if they were to go personally to speak to them, because now it's in a group atmosphere, so they can ask questions to a professional. Maybe the participants won't have to worry about the planning, which is like, if I was the person that had the problem, I may have to find out, plan where I need to go, who I need to see, do a bunch of research. But now Rose Colon has it in front of me where she can help me, and I don't have to go anywhere else. Rose got my answers. You see, makes it easier for them. And because it is more economical than booking multiple workshops, they'll come and do the retreat with you, and they're long-term benefits for them. So these are 5 benefits that you could add in your posts. For marketing, this is a checklist on marketing. You want all of these to be filled out. Check mark each and every one of them. You want to personally invite at least 10 people. That looks like calling them or text messaging them. I'm personally telling them, this is what I'm giving. Can you share it with others? Are you interested? Would you like me to explain more? Everyone you know gets an email when you ask them to share. You want all your emails that you're going to be sending to those who are already going to participate. You want those emails to be ready, so that when you're ready to launch, you already have an email written down. Thank you for considering our retreat. This is what we're going to have. This is, the launch is already written down, so that when you have everybody, all you have to do is press the button and it goes to all your participants. You have the date set, you've got the PDF slides, and you have the platform. You've the outline of how you're going to be doing everything. So, go ahead.
Everything set up before and ready to go.
Yeah, and so you just check mark, okay, see, if you don't do the social media posts or the Facebook ads, you'd be missing out on everything that's on here. Everything that's on this slide needs to be check marked, so that you can be successful in the marketing. And when I say Facebook ads, I mean Facebook or Instagram, one or the other. Okay, you choose one that works for you. Before you retreat, you're going to double check participant information. That you do that in that week. So let's say that you closed Monday. That's the last day that you're going to allow anybody to pay. You've got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You're going to double check that you have their addresses, their phone numbers. If you need to have maybe a friend call them up or email them to make sure that they have all the information set out. Then you're going to email them the schedule, what the schedule looks like, their own the retreat schedule. And if there's any documents that they need to have ahead of time, to send it to them then. And MailChimp and other apps like that will send a reminder a week before, 3 days before, a day before, an hour before, to remind them to log in that Zoom link. And then you may want, if you're going to do a whole weekend retreat, for example, it's a possibility you may want to just concentrate on your participants and your retreat and not have to worry about what emails are coming in and not worry about any phone calls. Phone calls, you put a voice message, I'm not going to be available this weekend. Don't leave me any messages, text me or email me, and I will return your email by Monday, September 17th. And then the same thing with the email. I put a vacation responder so people know that you're not available. On your retreat, have a welcome plan in place. And we're going to talk about that because I have a whole welcome greeting thing. An energy management plan in place means somebody has bad energy, somebody's bringing everybody's energy down. You've got Lisette there or somebody else there, and you say to them, I'm going to go to a room, you're going to work it out with them. You
Yes.
get them out of the way. Or you have a therapist there that can help you to manage it. Mentally and emotionally prepared to deal with sticky situations. It means that you must be ready physically, emotionally, mentally, means that those 4 days before the retreat, you do meditation, you just ground yourself, you're ready to put up with whatever happens. You can leave all your problems behind. You're not going to be thinking about any of your problems. You're not going to be emotional about anything because now you're concentrating on your participants. This is what you've been working on, and you're going to focus on them. And plan times to video and photograph participants for marketing. You want to make sure that on the online schedule, there's space available for them to, or for you to do a snapshot with all of the people in those squares. And you tell them, okay, so right before lunch on Saturday, we are going to take a group picture. Anybody that doesn't want to be on the picture, you take yourself off in the video, but we're going to have a group photo, even if it's just a screen shot.
Yes.
Okay. But you want to plan that because that's part of your marketing later. After your retreat, these are the check marks that you want to have. Additional resources sent to participants means you worked on something during the retreat. There was something, whatever it was, whether it was a healing or anything like that, you want to now send them an email that will give them information about what you did. Additional professionals, additional workshops you're going to give them, a friend that does X, Y, and Z that can help them in this other situation. So resources that they can go to and say, wow, she really cares. She saw that I was distraught about this problem, and she sent me 3 people that I can go see. One is a professional therapist, one is an acupuncturist, and one is X, Y, and Z. So she's interested in seeing me, grow. And people appreciate that.
Yes.
So you want to send something like that to them. Also, you want to offer them something that you can upsell them for. What I usually do is anybody that comes to a retreat or workshop, I give them 50% off of my next one. See, so that and my next one is not the same as this one. It's more advanced or it's something completely different that they might be interested in because it's like a sister thing. So now they got a 50% discount if they go back to seeing me for another workshop. And then you also want feedback from them. Now, I don't do a feedback form after the retreat, Rose. My feedback form now, I now do it right then and there. On the last day of the retreat, I tell them, look at your chat. My coworker or my colleague has put in the chat, and I would have Rose or Lisette or somebody write in the chat a survey place where they would go to, and I would say, please, before you go to lunch,
Yes.
write for me this feedback survey. It's going to take you 1 minute, 2 minutes. and I need to know how we're doing so that the next time we could do better job. And I will want a testimonial from you, if possible, if you would take 1 more minute of your time. And may I put that in my website? So if they do put a testimonial, they're signing that it's okay for you to use their name and that testimonial on your website.
Yes.
Plus, it
Yes.
helps you for the next retreat. Well, what is it that was missing? Maybe they wanted more music. Maybe they wanted more fun. Maybe they wanted more of X, Y, and Z. So you get to know who your target audience, what they're wanting, who there is and what they're wanting, so that next time you can even be better. And then follow up with a phone call or an email about 4 weeks after. The follow-up call can be something like a quality call. How is it going? How is there any way we can support you? Did it help you? How can we make it better for you? Is there someone that we can send you to? You know, like really, it's like a quality call. Okay. And it helps to also create a connection with your participants if you make the phone call yourself. You can also have somebody in your group call and say, hi, my name is Marlu. I'm calling on behalf of Rose Colon. She did the retreat for you 4 weeks ago, and she has asked her staff to call the participants. We're interested in knowing how you are doing and how it has helped you and supported you in your life or in your health. And is there anything that we can do without asking for money, without asking for, no upselling in this call at all. It's all about them and how you can support them. Okay. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. There are 4 common mistakes in retreats: running a retreat too soon, not planning in advance, not putting enough emphasis on marketing, and packing your retreat too full or too loose. So we're going to go through them real quick. Running a retreat too soon. If you launch too soon, you stand the chance of wasting time, not yours only, but theirs also, losing money, and hearing crickets, meaning nobody will show up because it's too fast, too quick. You say to them, I've got a retreat going on in 3 weeks, let's do this. And nobody hears about it. And when they heard about it 6 weeks later, like, how come you didn't tell me? Well, because I had it 6 weeks ago and I did it too fast. So it's opposite from what you want. You want money and you want people to know you and all of that. So you need a little bit more time. So the rule of thumb is, if you know at least 5 people right now who would give you a solid yes, not like a half-ass yes, but they'll say, heck yes, Rose, I'm doing this, you're probably good to go.
Yeah.
If less than 5 people, then wait, hold off, grow your network before you do any retreat. Like, give it 6 months of getting to know more people, of growing groups, of talking to people, of really being intensive, talking to colleagues that can help you with this retreat, that are in the same mind frame. Talk to their clients, like connect them to yours, and you give and have them connect to theirs, so that it becomes like a thread. You don't have to do it all by yourself. You can have a colleague and their clients and your clients connect to each other, and it creates a phenomenal community. So you can think of potential participants from your own client list, from your personal network of friends, or your email list. And one question that one of my in my group, my earlier group today, she asked me, well, how do you do an email list? How do I start an email list? And I told her, well, there's so many ways you can, create freebies and then have them, if they want to sign up for more information, you would have them fill out their email, or even before the freebie. You want this freebie, you've got to give me your email. It's like a landing page. You create like a little post where, 5 ways to X, Y, and Z. If they want to learn about it, they got to give you the email. And then they go into your landing page. Your landing page gives them the information. It gives them a 3-minute video. It gives them bullets on how to learn about this. It's free for them, but you got their email. Okay. The way that I have created my email list, 2 ways that I have created personally, is I have my Self-Love Club group on Facebook. In order for people to get into the group, I ask for their email. It is not necessary for them to put it, but most people do. So I've got a lot of my emails from that group, and I have over 1,100 people from that group.
Yeah.
Another way that I've done it is before I do a coaching course, a coaching program, I give free 1-hour webinars teaching people what a coach is and how a coach does their life, what kind of life a coach has, what it takes, you know, that you have to do workshops, that you've got to do, you know, a community building, that there's networking involved, that, you know, all of that information is given to the person before they even consider the school that they're going to do. Do they want to consider, am I right to be a coach? Is coaching for me? So I give that for free, but in order for them to come to my class, they've got to give me that email, you see. So once I have the email, those people are going to be in my email list. So they might not become my coaches, but they're already in my email list.
Yeah, you're creating your list.
Right. So you want to use 6 months of intense community building before you're ready to go. If you don't have 5 people right now. Second mistake, common mistake that people make that does not make the retreat successful is they don't plan well in advance. So planning is everything, and that's why I created this checklist. You've got this checklist. If you plan everything, it'll go well for you. It gives you the chance, if you do all of this, to market it and then be able to sell it. How far in advance? If it's a local retreat, a regional retreat means in your area, 2 to 6 months. 2 to 6 months. 2 months, if you've got the 5 people already, 2 months. If you don't have the 5 people already, 4 to 6 months. If you want it to become an international retreat, it's the longer the better. 10 months is good. You wait a little bit. So we want to make sure that more people get into it. When it becomes international, it's usually a bigger sized retreat. It's also more money, and it's like they don't have to pay more money, but it's more money for you. And you're probably going to need assistance, more than one person. One person for technology, one person for energy work, you know, in the room, a person that's going to be helping you with the chat, maybe a lecturer or a speaker. So you're going to have more people, and you're going to have to pay them, you know, unless they're really good friends. But if you're not sure, longer is better. Just wait a little longer. Number 3, not putting enough emphasis on marketing. Marketing is the way to sell. So here I've got some different ways that you can market. I actually use all of them. All of them. I don't just use email marketing. I use all of them. I tell my friends to tell their friends. I network with other colleagues. I get referrals from a client. Hey, you liked the way that I coached you? Yes. Okay. I would like for you to give me 2 names of 2 people that would be interested in either coaching or having a retreat that has to do with what I just taught you. And if you do that for me, I will give you an extra session. You know?
Yep, incentive.
Facebook ads, Instagram ads, you know, different social media, sales calls. That would be, I don't do actually that many sales calls. I don't like them, but my sales calls are through email, where they're cold sales calls. I don't think they work very well. However, I have a friend who's a super amazing salesperson, and whenever I need, I call him.
So
And
that's a skill you gotta have.
yeah, because I'm not that good at that. And question and answer calls, what that means is that webinar that's free that you tell people, okay, I'm going to sit at 6 p.m. on Tuesday night and I'm here for you to answer your questions. And it's going to be about X, Y, and Z. Bring me your questions. And then you do that. I also do the freebies, right? The coaching freebies. And I get the emails from that, but I also get people that are interested on, because not only do I give the webinar that explains what a coaching is and really sell my school, that my school is different than any other coaching school, but I also tell them I'm a coach and this is my next retreat, you know?
Yes. And both ways.
Packing your retreat too packed or too loose. If you pack it too tight, there's no breathing room for them. They won't be able to just sit and enjoy, right?
Yes.
And if it's too loose, they'll think like, why did I pay this woman a premium price and I've just wasted my time? Your reputation goes down the drain. So you've got to know, pack it, but give them time where they have breaks, where they have meal time, where they can sleep, you know, make sure that it's not too tight. The discussion, oh, okay. The discussion is where people get the most value. So that means the sharing time, right? So leave lots of time and space for discussing between them what they're learning, the sharing time. So these are 3 times that I found that sharing has really helped. When everybody after breakfast is sharing, like, okay, this is, let's show you something. Morning check-in, I'm talking about the second morning, not the first morning. They already met, they already had a Friday night, they did some lectures there and some activities. Come Saturday morning, or maybe Sunday morning, one of the two, I might have them come and have breakfast online. Maybe I'll tell them tomorrow, check in instead of at 9, instead of at 11 a.m., come check in at 10. Let's have breakfast together. You know, and during the breakfast morning check-in, people are sharing with each other in a casual way, a matter of factly, you know what, that thing that Marlo said last night, this and this and that, and that was pretty interesting. And I think I'm going to do this instead with my life because this is what's happening with me. And you know, and they talk about each other, about themselves, right? And then maybe have a variety of group activities throughout the days that they can choose from. For example, a group activity can be like, okay, now we're going to do a large activity, all of us. And you can choose either you're going to do a play or you're going to do a poem or a song. So which will it be? And then the people that are going to do a play are going to go in a room, and the people that are going to do the song are going to go in another room. But they chose, they have an activity to choose. It's a matter of giving them a choice, not just springing it on them. We're all going to do a play now. It's going to do a sketch and you're going to be Dorothy and you're going to be the lion. No, you give them choices. So we have a sketch going on and we have a song going on. Which one calls out to you? You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then allow some downtime. Allow some downtime. So they don't feel like it's, oh my God, this weekend has just been a waste of, you know, my time. Don't forget to plan time for check-in and for latecomers, because people sometimes register on the last minute. They had the registration halfway done. There were still things missing. You might still need a signature. You might still need an emergency contact number, who knows what. So plan time for that. So while somebody is in the back room helping a participant that's late, you can do jokes or talk about something about your life. that has to do with what you're going to be talking about. They're getting to know you. They're starting to feel comfortable with you while the other people are taking care of that late participant.
Yes.
And then the transitions are the break rooms. You send them into a break room. Sometimes it takes a few minutes to get them there. Sometimes it takes a few minutes to get them back. You know, you might lose one. They might have to come back into the virtual room. So think about that as when you are doing your outlines, so that you don't pack it so hard that you lose somebody along the way. Okay. And then you write out your schedule. So these are the questions that you want to ask yourself before you write out your schedule. What times to start and end would work for everyone's time zone? Because maybe somebody's in England and somebody's in Australia and somebody's in China. So you want to know what will work for them and what are our assigned meal times, because maybe one person will have lunch at 10 in the morning and another one will have lunch at 4 p.m. But everybody, you get to know where everybody is going to be so that you can let them know ahead of time. Sorry, but your assigned mealtime is going to be at 10 in the morning because it works out that way because other people are at 4 p.m. So they get to know, right? What activities are available by any other speaker or trainer, and how much time will those activities take? That takes time to talk to another person and say, okay, so you're going to be doing this, right? So what activities are you going to do? I mean, I don't want you just talking, right? I want you to do an activity with them. I want you to engage them. So encourage them to do more, right? So how are you going to engage them? How long will it take for that? And have them answer you and put that information in the outline. Okay, this person needs an hour and a half. This person needs an hour. How many sessions and talks and meetings do you need to fit in to get all that information in and make it fun for them and have them give them the benefit that you told them you were going to give them? And how much free time do you want to give? These 5 questions you need to answer before you start your outline. If your retreat is with children or youth, younger people, you want to have a copy of the schedule sent to the parent, because they're going to want to know what activities their children are going to do. And if there's any discussion questions that they can follow up with their children after the retreat so that they can help them to internalize what you taught them. So you would send them a questionnaire. This is the questions that you can ask your child on Sunday night or Monday. And this is what we're going to be doing. And these are the activities I expect them to do, the assignments that I have them do. I'm going to be calling them on such and such day. You need to let me know what time is good for you. This is what, and I'd like to speak to you before I speak to them. You know, all that, because the parents need to be involved. All right, so let's outline the agenda. This is an outline of a one-day virtual retreat. You're going to do a welcome, an introduction of you, the context of what they're going to be learning. Here, you can also do an outline. And then you want an icebreaker, something that will relax them. It could be movement. They can sing, they can dance, they can maybe tell jokes to each other. They can, it could be a sharing time. Or, well, who are you? Tell me about you. That can be an icebreaker. A joke is always an icebreaker, nice little joke. Then you're going to do the core discussion, which is the lecture, the main informational study part. You give them a break, and then you do the activity. And the activity has to do with the lecture. And then a reflection. Now, I usually do a meditation and then the reflection. It's up to you. But the reflection is a journal prompt. You ask them things and they reflect on it and they write about it. And then after they write about it, now they get to share follow-up discussion on what they found, what they learned. And then you can ask something, some people, is there anybody that you want to acknowledge for anything that you've learned today? And that's their acknowledgement session. And then you close. Of course, in the closing, before the closing, you want to have their feedback, right? Make sure you write that in the chat so they can give you a survey of how you did. So let's talk about the warm welcome. By that, I mean, you want to be on the chat 10 to 15 minutes earlier than the time that you told them. As people come in, you greet them by name. Hi, Rose. How are you doing? So glad to have you here. After a few people have joined in, one of your colleagues will start writing in the chat some questions, because for those 10 minutes, people are just not going to be there looking at each other like, who's here? And then just like, making believe that they're busy and they're looking and they're making believe they're busy. So rather than that, you ask, hey, we're going to put a question up in the chat. Let's see how many people answer that in 5 minutes, and you have them get engaged in doing something while they're waiting for everybody, all the participants to join. Get them to do something so that you're not just sitting there bored.
Yes.
Then once everybody's there, you're going to start by sharing with them what your intention for this program is, what you expect is going to happen for them. You're going to put them at ease by acknowledging that we're in a virtual world. Kids might come up. It's okay for the kids to come up. That there might be background noise. And if there is, you mute your phone for that moment, for that time being. It's okay. If you have a messy house, we don't care. We all have a house. We all have messy days. It's okay. Like, you want them to know it's all right. We're acknowledging that we're all at home, right? And go over any ground rules. Mute the microphones when I'm talking. Unmute if you're asked if there's any questions. Unmute and let me know that you have a question. There's going to always be times for questions after I speak. You don't have to ask for permission to leave the camera. I want you on camera, but if you need to go to the bathroom or get a glass of water, get up and do it. You don't have to get off the camera. You don't have to, like, just don't be on camera if you're eating, you know, like, don't eat in front of the camera. Don't move around so that people are looking at you, moving around the house or driving while you're on camera, because that makes people want to look at you instead of listen to the speaker. That kind of, so you give them the ground rules and you outline today's agenda. Today we're going to learn about this, this, and this, and we're going to have a session, we're going to have an activity, and we're going to have a meditation, and we're going to have a reflection, and we're going to share. And then you introduce the speakers. For today, we're going to have Lisette Lopez and Rose Colon are going to be introduced in a moment. I know them from Red Tent Goddess Sisterhood, and I fell in love with them from the get-go. So I'm going to introduce now Rose Colon, and she is the speaker for the X, Y, and Z training session that's going to take it's going to be later on in the afternoon. And Rose, take it, and then Rose we go ahead and you say, hi, I'm Rose, and I this and this and that, and I was born here and I was raised there, and I learned this, and this is my education and my experience, and what I can't wait to teach you is about blah blah blah. And now I'd like to introduce you to my colleague Lisette. Lisette, please come up. And then Lisette tells her story, and everybody's been introduced. Now that's how the greeting goes. Okay, questions?
No, it's pretty thorough.
Okay. Icebreaker. You want to have 2 icebreakers. One that you're going to do right when you start. It's going to be some kind of fun game or activity that people are going to feel like, okay, I'm going to have fun today. It's going to be cool. I like this. I'm feeling more at ease now that I started. I didn't know anybody when I started, and now this activity of getting to know anybody with the same first letter of my first name is pretty cool, because look how many Marys there are, and whatever it was, any activity, just break the ice, right? And then you want to have a second icebreaker in case some of the energy starts to get low or something happens. If somebody brings in bad energy into the group, you can say, hey guys, I have this activity coming up now. Now, this is what I want you to do. Grab a piece of paper right now, rip it apart. This is what you're going to do. Whatever, you create something for them. So you want to have at least 2 activities like that you can break the ice if something comes up. And then on the core discussion, the lecture, you want to make sure that the lecture has to do with what you said it was going to be. right? And you want to have some questions for them so that it's not just you speaking. You start with a question. How many of you have been in the situation of, raise your hand. Okay, I see. So of those of you who raised your hand or didn't raise your hand, how about telling me if you have had this? Raise your hand. And you've got them going before you even begin talking about the lecture. And you're giving them opportunity to reflect. Okay, I did have this problem happen to me once, or you know what, my dad did. I'm not, but my dad did. And then you ask them, okay, so share with me. How is it that you thought about your dad? How about not you? What happened? And then they'll tell you about their dad. They'll tell you about, and then you can ask, okay, and it hasn't happened to you. Very good. And for so and so, tell me, are you complete? Yes. Okay. So and so, can you tell me about your sharing? Share with us about what happened to you. And then you start, okay, so what if you would have done it this way? If you would have done this other medicine, if you would have done this and that, if this is what we're going to talk about today. So now you've got their they're interested because now it has something to do with them. It's not just you're lecturing about a herb or a medicine. You're asking them how this herb is you're going to show them how this herb is going to help them because they've already told you they had a problem, or they've had it in the past, or somebody they know has had it. So now there's a reason why they want to listen. Okay. So you start with questioning them to get them encouraged in listening up before before sharing your lecture. You give them that opportunity, and then you give them when they're sharing, you want to tell them the ground rules are when you share 1 minute or two, let other people speak. When you're done, let us know by saying I'm complete, and always speak from your personal experience, not from somebody else's, like what happened to you and not your dad. Okay, so you give them rules so they know what they can do and cannot do. They can't be on mic unless they're being called upon, that kind of thing. Mark Goulston, the author of Just Listen, said, it is less important that what we say to others than what we empower others to say to us. So when you start the core discussion with them, what they're telling you, you're empowering them already rather than what you have to say to them. What you have to say to them is not as important to them as what they want to tell you about themselves. That's what's important to them. And if they feel heard and seen, you've already done something for them.
Yes. Guess I'm going to check that book out.
Regarding the break, you want every hour to do something with them, something for 5 minutes of a break. And it could be something like, okay, it's been an hour. This lecture was amazing, right? You agree? It was amazing. Well, now guess what? You got to get up from your chair and you've got to move your butt, guys. And you put some music on and, all right, let's see you shake it. And now is the time to go to the bathroom and drink your drink and come back. You've got 5 minutes,
Yes.
Get them going. And after the break time, then you can do like another icebreaker, another activity if you want to. But they need to be moved. Nobody's going to stay 2 hours completely listening to you unless there's some kind of activity that gets them enthralled and things like that. All right, activity. So it's something that has to do with what you taught. It's a hands-on of what you did, what you taught them. And you could do it after a break, or you could do it right after a lecture. Up to you. But you want to make it fun. It should be creative. It should be something that they're happy to do, that they don't feel like that they're being just, judged on, right? But something that inspires them to be a better person, that inspires them, motivates them to become more. Okay, so it's an activity that it's not just a color, color this. No, you want to create something. Don't give them a coloring book. Have them create the coloring book. You get me?
Yes. Yes. They have to be engaged.
Yeah, we're almost done. We're almost done. I know that you've got to go.
Oh,
The reflection, it's usually a journal prompt.
sorry about that. Okay.
Okay. So you're going to shift from the core discussion and the activity to reflection. They want to reflect what they've learned, and you want to follow up on that to make sure that they have learned it. So how you ask that is a journal prompt, and you might ask them to give examples of how is it that they learned it? What is it that they learned? And maybe it doesn't need to exactly be a journal prompt. It could be a sharing in a group setting, in a smaller group, 3 people in a smaller group that they can speak to and tell their story to. 10 or 15 minutes, they feel heard, they feel seen, they feel they understand the lecture, and now you can ask them, what did you learn? Did I do my job? That's what you want to know. And the follow-up this discussion is you start to brainstorm what are the next steps they're going to take in their life to help them grow more. You might put them in breakout rooms. You might ask them to draw a personal action plan, goal setting, or maybe like a reflective activity that we were just talking about, but something that has to do with what you taught, following up their sharing or following up their reflection. So,
Oh,
so it's lesson, activity, reflection, follow-up,
yes.
okay?
Action.
So that it's ingrained. And then you finish. And that what you do for wrap up is you ask them, like, does anybody want to thank anybody? Someone here. And so what happens is when you ask for an acknowledgement, people realize that Rose or Lisette or Mary or somebody said something that really made me think. And they'll say, I want to acknowledge Anna. She was in my small group and she said something about her life that really had me thinking. And I just want to thank you, Anna, because what you said really touched my heart. And I know now what I need to do in my life if I had this problem. And now that connects people. Now Anna wants to know this person, and now they keep a connection. And that's what they are looking for when they come to a retreat. It's that connection from people. So you got them in their sharing group. Now they connected. Now they got what they wanted. That makes sense?
Absolutely. I mean, that is so powerful. I mean, that you really connected people like that.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
So yeah, pretty much, I put the outline again over here so you could, just the same outline, just so you get an idea of a one virtual retreat, 1-day virtual retreat. But I have something special. I have a sample of a weekend retreat for you. And that's in the PDF slides that I give you. But it give you an idea, and we're almost done Friday night. You welcome them and you do the introduction and the ground rules, all of that. Here is when you do the grounding and you do the icebreaker, all of that.
Yes.
And then you do the first session. An idea of a first session here is to introduce your speakers, maybe have the students introduce themselves if it's a small group. If it's not 100 people, they can introduce themselves because they're going to be together the whole weekend. That might work. You give them the message, the lecture. You might have them go out into break rooms and then reveal what they learned, and then do a large group activity from that. So it gives you an idea of what you can do. Give them an assignment. Okay, so when you go to lunch, you're going to have this assignment. You're going to do this and this and that. Any questions? And then they ask you, and you close, and then when you go to lunch tomorrow, like, or tonight, before you go to bed, this is the assignment that I have for you
Yeah.
before you come in tomorrow. Like you give them something to do. And then you're going to have a leader meeting that night with the people that were helping you. And they're going to tell you who cried, who was not interested, who, they're going to tell you their story and what they found. And now you're going to know for tomorrow, okay, Juanita was not happy yesterday. And my colleague told me that Juanita said this and this and that. So I get to fix that so that she can have a good time, so that she can have a different experience. And so is crying. So today I'm going to bring Lisette in, and she's going to do a little therapy session with her. So now with the leader meeting. And then the next day on Saturday, you're more ready for Juanita and Anita, right? Now, 11 a.m. comes around, you welcome them back, and then you have them share what assignment they did. And, and you give them announcements of, this is what's going to happen today, and this is what's going to happen tomorrow. At 11:15, you start your lecture. That way you give 15 minutes for the latecomers. You do a grounding, you do a lecture. Here it gives you an idea, 30 minutes of a lecture with 20 minutes of a large group activity. Everybody does an activity together. Then you do a meditation and everybody reflects in a journal prompt. And then you give them 15 minutes to share with each other. Okay, this is what I learned. Now, at 12:30, you're going to explain to them what they're going to expect in the afternoon. You do a group picture. Right? That's shot picture. Okay, everybody, I told you yesterday, 12:30, we're going to do a group picture. And then you break for lunch. So you want to do that before lunch, the picture. At 1:30, you welcome them back. You introduce the speakers and you organize breakout rooms. You're going to have help for that. So what I have here for Saturday is I have 2 sessions where they get to choose from 2 possible 1.5-hour workshops, followed by a 1-hour workshop. And you're going to give them about 10 minutes between them so that they can have a break between the 2 workshops. Okay. So here you have, for example, Mary is going to teach for 1.5 hours on, I don't know, chamomile and lavender. And Lisette is going to talk 1.5 hours regarding the health issues of today's youth. I don't know. I'm giving you an idea, right? 1.5 hours. And so they could choose to go into the herb or they can choose to go into the therapy part. What they choose, and you put them there. Now, usually you would have them choose this before. If you're going to have a workshop to choose from, that information is given to them prior to beginning in the weekend. So now you know who is going to be in A and B at 1:45 and who's going to be in A and B at a 3:15 session. So you already have the breakout rooms ready and then you're ready to go once they have their break. At 4:15, large group integration. Everybody talks about what they learned. The A group, the B group from 1:45, the A group and the B group from the 3:15, everybody talks about it. So everybody gets to learn a little bit of what everybody learned. Okay, so Rose was in the therapy session that I wasn't in, but she told me something really interesting that I liked, And then you do a 4:15 large group integration for the, that, I mean, I already said that. Then you do a question and answer session, and then they go for dinner. You let them go for dinner. They come back at 6, an hour later. You welcome them back. You give them a message. You send them out to their small groups. They already have their small groups. They're already happy with their small, they already know them. And in the small group, what have you learned? They come back from the small group and they do an overview of the main workshops for all participants. Same thing that we did before our dinner break, but now we go into more detail. And then we do a practice together. We do an activity together. At 7 o'clock, another lecture, a large group activity, a practice, a meditation, journal reflection, you share, all of that goes into that hour and a half. You do announcements for tomorrow, and then you give them an assignment for tomorrow and you close 45 minutes later, the leaders get together. What happened today? What worked? What didn't work? What can we add? What worked? What didn't work? What can we add? So that's the 3 questions for leader meeting. What worked? What didn't work? And what can we add? And then you work on that for Sunday. Sunday's sample is a breakfast together, for example, if you want to. You might even say, everybody's going to wear a Hawaiian shirt tomorrow. We're going to make believe we're in the Caribbean islands, and everybody wears something fun. Or dress like your favorite Disney character, or the colors of your favorite Disney character, whatever, you create whatever. You can give it to them the night before and say, listen, I want something fun tomorrow. What do you say for breakfast when you come? How would you prefer to dress, like this, or like this? Okay, hands. And then they choose. And it makes it fun for them. 9:45, you start the last session. And here it gives you minutes that you can use each one. The activity for 10 minutes, the lecture for 20, then to do a personal reflection for 10 minutes, a small group breakout, 15 minutes. The personal reflection is never 10 minutes, Rose. It's probably like 2 or 5 minutes, not more than that. Small group breakout maybe could be 20 minutes. And then the sharing for 15, large group practice 15, message. You give them tips for success, how they can make this better. Give them time for the question and answers. Ask for testimonials. I put it on here. That's got to go on there so that you don't lose out on that. And promote yourself for the next whatever it is that you're having, a workshop, a retreat, a class, a course, whatever it is, promote it. That's the time to promote it. And then you give them their farewell message. Okay. So that's what it's all about. These are some of the resources I've used in using in this. I just want you to have that information.
This was absolutely outstanding, like all your works.
Thank you.
Really, really, what a great information. It really makes me feel, oh my God, I think I can actually do this.
Yes, you can. Absolutely can. And you got me. I help you. I put this slide last because I wanted every person that had this retreat checklist to know that the last thing you want is to leave people with a 50% discount promotion because they came to this retreat. Whatever retreat Rose, because they came to Rose Colon's retreat on X, Y, and Z, and you can now have an early bird deposit, 50% off on the next retreat. So you want to have a slide that says that and give them that discount.
Yes.
Because they were here for you.
Yes. Yes. Wow. Oh my gosh, it's exciting.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, you made it look extremely doable, and like, wow, this looks like fun. I mean, just planning on working on something, to put something together, even if it's just something small to start with. Sounds really exciting. I think for me, probably growing the email list would be a big thing first, for the 6 months. And so, gosh, I gotta get going.
Yeah, think about what you want to give people.
Yes.
What they're going to benefit, and when you can do the retreat. And start for planning it out. Check mark each and every box. You're going to be successful if you go through that.
Yes.
And you've got me. Just call me and tell me, Marlu, I'm stuck in this thing. What do I do next? I'll help you.
Thank you.
Okay. Can I ask? Let me
Oh.
stop. Stop recording here.